all you Splinterheads. Welcome back. If you're new here, thanks for dropping by. I appreciate everyone spending some time with me. I'm Bronze Dragon. I like to cover Splinterlands related topics on a weekly basis, sometimes more times a week than not, depending upon how much is going down in the Splinterlands verse and my personal life. With that said, I wanted to hop on tonight and do a quick take on DEC-B tokens. That's DEC batteries, because they're getting ready to release tomorrow, which tomorrow, if you're watching this in the future, was February 8th, 2023. And we're looking at the news article on it on Peak D, and I will include the link in the show notes if you want to go through and read it. Mainly, if you're a long-time Splinterlands player, you probably already know what I'm getting ready to tell you. However, I wanted to kind of describe it a little bit because for newcomers to the Splinterlands verse, mainly because as we progress, Splinterlands has become harder and harder as far as more complicated. That's what I meant to say. There's just so much going on that from a new player's perspective, I'm sure, I mean, even from an old player like me, I'm sure that it's just mind-boggling as far as how many things you need to know about. So the DEC-B token is a little bit on the crypto. It's not a little bit. It is on the crypto side of the game. And I'll add a little bit of background and explain if you're wondering, hey, I'm a new guy. Should I take advantage of this? Do I need DEC-B? Okay, so let's step back a minute. DEC, Dark Energy Crystals, is one of the cryptocurrencies found and used in Splinterlands, along with SPS, vouchers. Over time, they found that really DEC has become quite diluted. In other words, the original idea by the team is that 1,000 DEC would be roughly worth $1 US. Okay. Over time, that's fluctuated heavily, and it's very rarely stayed near $1. So over the last, I don't know, for as long as I've played, they've been trying to bring that DEC back up to $1. There was a short period during the bull run where it was worth higher. But with that said, they've been taking a lot of actions in-game lately to try to bring DEC back up towards that dollar peg, right? So one of the actions, and you may ask yourself, hey, what are you talking about that for? Well, it's directly related to the DEC-B. They're trying to burn a bunch of DEC. They're trying to get rid of, when I say burn, get rid of a lot of DEC. And the idea is you get rid of some, and that pumps the value of the rest of the tokens, right? So the DEC-B token idea was approved in the recent past, and it's going live. Now, what does that mean to you? That means that right now you can spend DEC and it gets burnt when it gets, I guess spend is the wrong word for it, but it gets burnt in the process of this transaction, and you get a little bit more for your purchase price, 20% more in DEC-B. So if you spend 1,000 DEC, you burn 1,000 DEC, you get 1,200 DEC-B. Okay. And the DEC-B token, or DEC battery, which they're talking, they got artwork, nice artwork and everything coming for it, is to be spent in the future. And lately, over the last over the last month, if you've listened to the town halls, they've put a lot of use cases out there. Okay, and we'll go through it, but it's basically for future use, and the tokens cannot be transferred. Once you buy them, it's on your account. That's where they're staying until you use them. Okay. So let's go ahead and I've kind of briefly described this. They go on sale February 8th at 1 p.m. Eastern time. There's 2 billion total. Okay, and they're not going to be for sale forever. They're going to be sell until they for 60 days or until they sell out, and they may sell out. 2 billion's a lot. I don't know. I plan on buying some. But I'm not a heavy investor. I'm not a big dog. So I have no idea. Every time I've tried to guess about things in this game, in fact, it's a running joke between me and my brother. Every time we try to guess something that's going to happen in this game, the opposite happens. So he'll say, "Hey, I just did this. So you should wait till tomorrow and do the opposite because then you'll come out ahead." So anyway, so all sales are final. That's what they said. It is a utility token, and it's for people that want to use this in the future. And they list in this news article that they will not immediately be able to be used. This is a future thing, and they do go ahead and they list some of the things that immediately, down the road pretty soon that they will be used for. But you shouldn't burn your DEC for DEC-B tokens expecting to use them tomorrow. Okay. So I'm just scrolling down through here. They talk about the land potions being voted down, and they expect to go ahead and try to put it through for another vote with different wording and such. Here's the list I was talking about. The major use case right now will be building upgrades, maintenance, boosts in the land expansion, future mini editions of cards, pending the DAO approval, and skins and cosmetics. And that's interesting the way they said that, pending DAO approval, because as far as I knew, the DAO didn't really control the release of cards. In other words, they could just create some cards and sell it for whatever they wanted to if they chose to sell it for DEC-B. But I'm not the most up on the DAO. So stepping back a couple weeks, we've been in a time period where they've been doing a lot of upgrades to the land expansion within the UI and such, and they've been talking it up. And as time's gone along, I mean, I don't want to bring any fire here, but as time's gone along, they've taken land and they've basically threw more and more and more charges on top of it. Okay, so it's land. What started as just land has turned into really a money sink. So if you buy a land and it's $120, $150, whatever, originally that was $20 right to them. The rest of that profit, they don't see that. That's the secondhand card market. But on top of that, you're going to be expected to buy at least 5 really decent cards to mine the land, as well as pay to build buildings on the land and burn DEC-B for various things to basically boost your land. Okay, so I'm kind of getting on a tangent, and you can kind of hear the edginess in my tone, but I'm trying not to go there. Anyway, DEC-B is specific use for doing those various land functions, as well as guild functions, guild buildings as well. So other than that, they in this article, they talk about voucher updates as well, which are also coming out tomorrow. And this is interesting. It's worth a read if you're into tokenomics, because they started a whole new chain that will be run by the validators, and it will handle the SPS token, the vouchers, and the license tokens. So they don't mention it handling the DEC though, so that will stay on Hive, I guess. So I don't try to dive too far in deeply into the tokenomics. To me, it's one of those necessary evils that I circumvent over the last few years to play the game. And frankly, that was the tokenomics has really been one of the hardest things to overcome, most frustrating. That's the better adjective there. More frustrating things to overcome, the hoops you have to jump over, the tape you have to run through. Get this token, sell it for this token, move it here, turn it into this token, then bring it into the game, etc., etc. And if you're new to the game, it is probably still a little bit frustrating, but let me tell you what, it's gotten a lot better. Okay. So either way, you can read this. They're bringing. They say it's going to be seamless. So you may see a few changes in the UI, but in the background is where most of the action is handled, and you probably won't notice it. It's just these tokens will be handled on a different blockchain, and then you may notice the bridging feature, a function. It's not a feature. Well, I guess it is a feature and a function. Because if you buy something like a pack or something that requires like DEC and a voucher, that voucher is going to have to be bridged together. The two blockchains are going to have to be bridged together to make that purchase. So, and they go into it a little bit deeper. But like I said, I'll put that link if you're into that. Hopefully, if you're a new person, I didn't scare you off, but I kind of wanted to explain it and give it a little background. So, strictly speaking, for people who are new to the game and they're just trying to get to play cards, you more than likely don't have to worrying about DEC-B. Okay. Now, if you've been playing a few weeks, a month, or something or other, and you're diving in hard and you like the idea of land, or you like the idea of heavily invested in guild buildings or whatever, then that may be something you think about. But think about it heavily, because once you burn those tokens, they're gone. There's no more taking it over to Hive, converting it into Hive, and selling it and buying vouchers or whatever else with it. Okay, so strictly speaking, the DEC-B will mostly, and I forgot, I had a picture. Here we go. So this is the picture of what the user interface will look like, and has a little battery. They released that on Town Hall a couple weeks ago. But yeah, as a new player, whoops, sorry, wrong page. Yeah, I've been heavily playing Splinter Forge the last few weeks. So as a new player, I would say probably don't worry about it. Unless you've been really watching and listening to some videos of YouTube creators about the topic, and you feel like you want to be prepared for the future, and you feel like you're going to be in the Splinterlands verse for quite a while, then you might go ahead and buy some. Sock it away. Things are changing rapidly, and you never know what it might be good for. But as always, this is not investment advice. Like I told you earlier, I'm terrible at guessing what will actually happen within the marketplace in Splinterlands, but I do love playing the game, and that's why I put out these videos. So with that said, watch your P's and Q's, and I will see you on the flip side.